Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Ride Psychocandy. This board features Ride's tapered directional zero camber, which is just directional flat to rocker, so you get more rocker in the nose, flat section through the inserts, and then a little rocker out in the tail. This is going to give it a little bit more of a loose feel and a more skate-like pop, as well as more optimal powder float. This board is available in 138, 142, 146, 150, 154, and 158. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on an overcast gray sky days with blustery gusts of wind. You had hot, wet pow on top of the groomers. You had leftover baked pow off the groomers. There's chopped chunder, little bit of corduroy here and there, and I rode it with my Rome black label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. So here's the thing we need to talk about with this board. When you bump up to the 54 or the 158, it's really designed for heavier riders. Those are the two sizes that make this board a little bit more unisex, as that's now how Ride is marketing it. With that said, you get a predictable middle of the road directional all mountain flex. So you get this softer nose that's accentuated by that rocker zone, then it stiffens up progressively back to the tail. Obviously about midway back to the tail, you'll notice that it really is starting to stiffen up with that carbon ray. The torsional flex is there, but there's a lot of snap and rebound to it. When it comes to stability, the width, the carbon, just the way that this thing's shaped, it's fairly stable. Sure, you're gonna get some flap in the nose, but it doesn't resonate too sharply back under the front foot, so you don't really have to worry about that. And when you're just plowing through choppy terrain, it does a great job of either pushing through it or just skipping across the top of it. By and large, it's not overly damp, it's still lively. You're gonna feel some stuff underfoot, but it's not a board that you should be worrying about getting bucked around too much. What's nice about this board is the camber profile. You got that flat to rocker, so when you roll back on the tail, you get that snap out of it. It's really easy to engage. You never have to worry about it. It's got enough carbon in there so that when it rebounds, you're gonna be able to boost off any side hit, cat track, gap, or roller in your path. When it comes to jumps, it's at home on jumps, mainly due to the width of this board. Really big stuff, just because of the flat to rocker, may put you in the tail if you come down just a little too sharply, but small to medium, you don't have to worry about it. It pops off the lip with ease. Once again, that skate style pop really lets you load it up at the last minute and just be able to boost off the lip. But if you're lazy, you can also just let the lip throw you. You're still gonna get some solid pop with it. So with the rocker in this board, that does help you butter, but what you gotta know is with the carbon layup, it wants to snap out of anything you do. The other thing is this board, once you start to get sideways in a butter, it tends to want to just keep spinning until you lock it back in on the flat section. So be aware of that if you're just trying to get sideways and then bring it back, it may want to continue on with that spin instead of reverting you back. So be aware of that. Yes, you can butter if you know what you're doing. The tail is gonna be a little stiffer, so you have to basically sit outside the binding on it and really push in. The nose is a little easier to engage. When it comes to jibbing, the width of this board really does help with the pressing. Added to that, the rocker, so when you get your weight outside the bindings, it locks into those huge sweet spots from that rocker, and you just get a solid press, but it retains its snap so you can pop off the end of the feature. When you go sideways, you notice right away that this board just cradles right around the rail or the box or whatever you're on, but it does not clap out. This helps it slide a little bit better. The edge-to-edge power on this board is smooth and consistent. You really can just ankle steer it in that flat section with very minimal movements, and that will guide the carve. When you really try to rail it over and you're pushing off the back foot through the tail, you can lay it over. It's just you're gonna hit a wall at some point and it's not gonna let you go any further. Now where that wall is gonna vary depending on what size you're on and the weight of the rider, but if you're really trying to lay it over and do a hard Euro carve, you'll probably be able to get it once in a while, but for the most part, you're not gonna have as deep of a carve with this board just due to the camber profile. It starts to kick out a little bit. Overall, it's really good at short, tight, quick carves, medium mellow carves, and even semi-hard carves. Who's this board for? The all-mountain freestyle rider that has more of a focus on chasing powder and all-mountain riding. So the way to look at this board is it sits between the War Pig and the Super Pig. It's kind of that combination of the two. For women, I view this as a women's Super Pig realistically, even though they're offering more sizes and everything's gone unisex now. With this board, when you bump up to the 54 or the 58, that's really where the unisex comes into play for those bigger riders that are a little more heavy. Even the 150 to an extent you can get away with, but realistically it's the 54 and the 58 that stick out. Now, with this being a ride board, it's got consistent pop. You never have to worry about that. It's more than ample. This board's fun, and you can see where it fits between a Super Pig and a War Pig, where it's kind of a combination of the best characteristics of the two. So you get that loose, playful feel of the War Pig, but you get more of the precision and power of the Super Pig, but not the grip of the camber, so it's easier to load up and pop with. Comparable boards: the Nerd Relic, the Solomon Dance Hall, the Rome Stalefish. Binding recommendations: the Ride C8, the Rome Katana, the Burton Malavita. This has been my review of the Ride Psychocandy. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.